Honorable Finance Minister Dr. Shamshad Saiba, Mr. Akaf Saeed, Farooq, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. It was very pleasant to be waking up in Karachi this morning and after many weeks breathing fresh air, unlike in Punjab. So thank you, Farooq, for inviting me here. I do have some slides, but I was asked to prepare some slides just a day ago, so they might not be completely in sync what I want to say. How do you start? All right. So we have been, I think, listening to some very interesting presentations, and Dr. Saiba and a couple of other presenters also mentioned ESG. For the last few years, ESG has become a buzzword. We wouldn't hear it maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago. Now, when I look back at our own company and we see what was in our DNA, and as I'll go through, I'll try to share with you, from day one when we were maybe a small SME, maybe a cottage company, we had some of the ingredients of ESG. And that's what we followed all along, and I'll just share with you how does that help. So, as most of us know, China's transformation from from a cultural revolution to a market economy, among others, was led by Deng Xiaoping. And what I have read and have come to know is when Deng studied the Western capital markets a lot, and then he gradually started introducing market economy. They chose to call capitalism market economy to slightly camouflage it, and it's different also. He would often quote from the theory of moral sentiments and not from the wealth of nations. So when we talk about capitalism, and we think that Adam Smith as the father of capitalism, we always mention the wealth of nations, but we never mention, or very seldom hear about the theory of moral sentiments, which was written 17 years prior to the wealth of nations. And this book and this work deals with the concept of empathy, concept of balancing your personal interest with empathy. And this could apply to individuals or the companies as well. Now, going forward, most of the capitalism and capital markets have been propagating, and the objective of the capital markets was to build and promote shareholder value. In 2019, and as we see all over the capitalist world, we see a lot of haves and have-nots, and the whole blame is put on the capitalism. So in my opinion, it's not the capitalism. It is the way it was practiced that has created problems. So in 2019, the CEO roundtable in USA, which had 181 CEOs of the top US corporates, they sat together and they rewrote the purpose statement for the roundtable. And they committed to lead their companies for the benefit of all stakeholders and not just the shareholders. So that was the moving away from shareholder primacy to stakeholder primacy. Now, as I think most of the investors are here, the brokers are here, the new aspirants for IPOs are here. What I'm trying to say is that when you take care of the entire stakeholders, you automatically take care of the shareholders, and that creates a company or a corporation which is long lasting. If you just look at the shareholder value and ignore everything else, you might, gain in the short run, but in the longer run, you'll lose. So that is the point I'm trying to make. So at Interloop, the company was formed in 1992. And I still remember we raised amongst us 9.35 million rupees. And the first plant, and the only plant at that time, was built on a 1.5 acres of land. But from day one, as a very small, I would say, cottage industry, we had a very clear idea that the governance of this company, the fiscal discipline, and all other values and ethos have to be different from what is happening around us in small companies. Today, by the grace of God, Interloop in Pakistan is spread over 600 acres. We employ in Pakistan more than 30,000 employees. As Raida just mentioned, we are the largest textile listed company on stock exchange with a market cap of, as of yesterday, more than 100 billion rupees. The only textile company ever to achieve that, besides having the largest IPO. And I must also mention, and I'm sure there's so many good companies. I'm not trying to say that they are not, the other companies are not, I'm just trying to point out what we did differently. When we had our IPO in March 2019, our market cap was, I think, 35% of the largest textile company. Today we have 2.5 times higher market cap than the same company. And that company is also doing very well. So what did we do different? And also I must say we have not only benefited from the IPO, but the IPO won't give you benefits on its own. You have to be ready for the IPO. When we were going for the IPO, we decided that we were very transparent from day one, but we wanted to be even more transparent for our shareholders. So we had some other businesses within the company, and we went for a demerger. And we created 2 separate companies. One was Interloop Holdings, and one was Interloop. And we took Interloop, which is the textile part of the business, for the IPO. But the holding company is still a private limited company. But what I'm trying to say is that that company was also born out of this organization. It's a child of this organization, and it has now 9 subsidiaries. And between that holding company, I think the turnover of that holding company's overall consolidated would be about 40 to 50 billion rupees this year, while Interloop Limited's turnover is expected to be 150 billion. And I'm not sure if Dr. Saba is still there. I have worked with her. I had the privilege to work with her for many years. And I know that with her in that position, you can only expect good and pragmatic things. Ehsan is sitting here. Let me tell you, 4 of our subsidiaries of our holding company are ripe for an IPO. They are all profitable. They are in different sectors: logistics, dairy manufacturing, dairy farms, packaging. The reason we are holding back is that the taxation on the group structure is so complicated. It doesn't Dr. Saba help us to go for IPO, and so we are waiting for your good self and the Ministry of Finance to look into that and come back to the level where the taxation is, there's no multiple taxation on group level, and Pakistan Business Council has been, advocating that. And I can tell you, you will see more IPOs if you go back to the taxation structure where there's no multiple taxation. Now, coming back to Interloop, as I said, we were 10, 15 years down the road. We thought, we never had a vision or mission statement in the beginning because we didn't feel that we should just have a statement sitting there and you see just for the fun of it. So 10, 15 years down the road, we thought, let's have a mission, you see, written for our company. And the way we did it, that we had a discussion with every level of the employee to find what is in the DNA of the company. And by doing that, then we crafted a mission for ourselves. And we decided that we are going to follow that mission, whatever we do. And the mission statement, it will come down in a while, but let me read it out to you. It was based on what we have been doing for the first 15 years of the company. To be an agent of positive change for the stakeholders and community by pursuing an ethical and sustainable business. And we thought that for the first 15 years of our life, that's what we have been doing actually. And we have to take it further. And trust me, since then, we have tried to do everything which falls within the ambit of this mission. And by doing so, we think we are rooted in purpose. There's a purpose which is not just making money. Making money is obviously important for the businesses, but there's a bigger purpose. And in the mission, I just said that we are, I'm just going through the slides, so to change it, my talk has not much of relation with the slides. So when we talked about sustainability, generally speaking, sustainability is considered to be the planet's sustainability, but from day one, for us, sustainability was triple bottom line, sustainability, triple P's. That is planet, people, and in the Western world, they call it profit, we call it prosperity. So that is what we have to achieve. And if we do that, you make the company long lasting. We don't have to go and, you see, worry for the planet because there are EPA regulations or because my customers are asking it or because it looks good to, you see, we have to do it because it's our moral responsibility. Similarly, we have to take care of the people. People who work for us, people who live around us, even those people who are consuming our products of our customers. We are responsible, each and every person who is directly or indirectly related to us. That is also the people of Pakistan in general. We as taxpayers are duty bound to pay all our taxes, to pay all our labor benefits, so that the people of Pakistan can get benefit out of it. Now, you see, we heard, this is a myth, that if you follow all the rules, you pay all taxes, you do all the right thing, you comply with all the labor regulations, then you can't make profit. I think it's the other way around. If you do all that, you'll make more profit. Trust me, and I'm telling you with my own experience. And I've been, for this very thing, I've been invited to other countries by, I don't want to name, the largest retailers of the world to convince even their management that this is possible. Their suppliers, if they tell them that if you are compliant, you are more expensive, it's not correct. It's not correct. So that's what we have been doing. We have invested from day one in our people we hire. We try to hire the good talent and then nourish them and take care of them. And when we invest in people, it is not just the money and the training, it's also the respect. The worker who works on the floors, apart from all his or her financial and other legal rights, also deserve respect and appreciation. And trust me, if you do that, the delivery goes up many times. And all this has to be, you can't just have a good HR manual and start doing these things. You have to practice this yourself from day one. you have to follow all the rules. You can't walk into a company as an owner. When you walk into a company and you want to have a control of the company, you have to work as an employee. That's my belief. That was my belief 30 years ago. That's my belief today. So these are the things, I think, which when we do, then we were never shy of investing in technology. Whatever technology we could find in the world, which is the latest, we'll go for it. As I said, when we formed our mission after 15 years of formation, we decided that we are going to have long-term plans. We can't live on a day-to-day basis just because the government policies change every 2-3 months or the conditions change 2-3 months. We have to have long-term plans. So I'm just displaying the latest vision. So we call them visions, 5-year visions. And when we form a vision in the company, it's not a top-down approach. It's a bottom-up approach. Everybody in the company, the 30,000 people of the company, they contribute. They discuss, they deliberate, what can we do? And trust me, the best suggestions come from the floor. And once we form a vision, it's a 6-month, it's not just 2 days seminar. It's a 6-month long exercise. And this current vision is going to, inshallah, be completed in June 26. And we are on track. Despite all the problems in Pakistan with the economy, the world problems, we are on track, or rather ahead of the plan. And while we do, and this is the third vision which we have formed, while we do pivot our strategy here and there where there's certain external issues, but because of the, I would call, temporary economic shocks, we don't, you see, start changing our strategy. The interest rates were going up. There was a lot of hue and cry that Pakistan's exports are going down. The world markets are shrinking. There's Ukraine war. There's blah, 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 blah. We never stopped investing. We have just completed a $120 million worth of one of the most modern apparel plants in Faisalabad. We are going full speed ahead. Our exports in dollar terms are growing. You hear that there are a lot of problems in the textile sector. Yes, there are problems. And yes, I think those problems can be diluted. Some of the problems are within the policymakers to address, but even with those problems, we are growing. It's not that, so probably it's all the hard work and all the risk analysis and the mitigations which our teams do. One thing which IPO also helped us, and I think probably Farah mentioned that, as I said, we were always on the lookout for the best talent. And internationally, we were a very well-reputed company. In 2019, when we went for IPO, we had converted our company into a public, unlisted company many years ahead. And I still recall several banks actually asked us not to go for IPO because the money is available. Our balance sheets were so good. We were always so transparent, and all the banks were lined up to give any amount of money we want. So we didn't come to the capital market just for money. There were many other things. And I think most of them have been mentioned, and I don't want to bore you with all of those things, but I can tell you most of those things are correct. Our operations are in Lahore and Faisalabad mostly, of our core company. And it was difficult to find top management people to move to Faisalabad or even to Lahore. After our IPO, we have seen a lot of people from Karachi actually interested to move to us. So it has actually happened. Similarly, I remember Asad has just left. When our IPO was the first IPO, the only IPO in 2019, and as Raida said, it became the largest IPO in the private sector history of stock exchange, and nobody was going for an IPO. And just as I just mentioned, we had a plan that we'll go for an IPO in 2019, and we went for an IPO. We didn't bother about the environment. And I remember Asad was on Zoom from Islamabad. He was the finance minister at that time. And he said that I have never heard of this company, and I have never seen Musadaq in Q Block. I still never go to Q Block. We don't have to. If you're doing the right thing, but after the IPO, we have a lot of recognition at the government level, lot of respect. They want to listen to us, and we always contribute, not for our own purposes, but for the overall policy making. So the IPOs does bring, and then it does gives you an opportunity to have JVs, because it's easier for people to, you see, exit mechanism is there. Your transparency improves, your corporate governance improves. We were not afraid of the corporate governance or transparency from day one. And we thought that improving the corporate governance is going to help us. Generally speaking, it is problematic. If you look at the rules and all those, the advice given by the SECP, it looks very cumbersome. But trust me, it helps. Even today, while the corporate governance recommendation is to have one female director, we under a plan, we had committed that we will have at least 33% female directors. Today we have 44% female directors on our board, and they are not just women directors. 3 of them are independent directors. 2 of them are CEOs of their own companies, including a very renowned company. We decided to systematically lower the average age. We decided in the nomination committee that we are going to lower the average age. You have to get rid of old men like me. We have to bring in young people, because the new world is that of the millennials and the Generation Z. We can't understand what they want. So we have to lower the average age of the board. And yes, by bringing in corporate governance, by bringing in the real sense, if you want to, you see, just fill in the forms and write names, then it's not going to help you. But if you start following that, it helps you. It helps in your strategy formation. It helps in the oversight of the company. It helps in the running of the company. And the companies don't remain dependent on families or the sponsors. They are run as an... So we have to... That's what I think is important, that we build organizations which are long-lasting, which look after the stakeholder value. The shareholder value will automatically be, built. I can, from my experience, I can tell you. And we have to do the right thing. We have to embrace the ESG principles, not because it is the buzzword, because it helps. It helps you grow your business, make it long-lasting. Today, we were the first Pakistani large-scale company, not textile, whose science-based targets were approved by the International Science-Based Target Institute. Because we were into sustainability and measuring our greenhouse gas emissions for the last 15 years. We have not started it just now. This only helps you inspire others, and many then start looking towards you. You start feeling good about it. And I would urge everybody here to not just come to the IPO to raise money. Learn the good things about what IPO can bring to you, how an IPO can help your company become a long-lasting company, how an IPO can... So I was just displaying this, telling you how we form a strategy. Apparently, textile is a very low-tech business, but we even take that very seriously. And so these are some of the things which we do, which we have decided. You would see in the end, we have a KPI for that we will invest 4% of the net profits back into the community. And it's done very religiously. So if we make 20 billion, we'll be investing 800 million rupees back into the community. And even for that, we have, we don't just go left and right, we have a strategy for that. Our top priority is education, education for the underprivileged. We, from the company funds, we invest very little into health, because health issues are the symptoms, they are not the disease. Disease is the education. For our personal funds, we can help in that. We promote a lot of women empowerment. We sponsor a lot of differently abled sports, whether it's wheelchair cricket, whether it's blind cricket, whether it's female cricket. We just had a first T20 championship for the women. We sponsor the blind World Cups in Birmingham, in Nepal. We do those things which companies don't do. Companies sponsor things for the publicity. We do it because nobody is ready to sponsor a blind cricket team. You don't get any mileage. But we have to do that. That's what we do. And I'm just sharing these things with you. Trust me, if you start building your companies on these lines, your employee engagement will increase. Your supplier engagement will increase. Your customer engagement will increase. And this is the last slide on my presentation. There is a lot of, you see, word going on about, you see, increasing female employment. And we are very much for it. But I think just increasing the numbers, at our company we think just increasing the number is not going to change anything unless you really empower them. You create an environment where they feel safe, where they can be productive. And if you come to Interloop, anybody can come to Interloop, any facility, you will find world-class daycare centers. And they are not daycare centers, they're actually kindergartens. We take care of the kids of our people up till 6 years of age. And they can compete with any, and it is open for workers and for the executives and everybody. And we have affirmative actions. All our graduate entry has to have 50% female employees, graduates. And on our floor, you will find a lot of STEM degree female engineers working on the floors, even in Faisalabad. Just having them on the sewing machines is important, but I think it's important to have them in different levels. So in these brief 10-15 minutes, this is all I can tell you, that you have to change and create a DNA of a company to become it long-lasting and successful. And success also, the one last thing, from a capital market point of view, probably success is just how much money you make. I don't think money will come, but success is something else. Success is much wider. And that's how, if you look at your companies, trust me, the money will come. The shareholder value will come. But look at the stakeholder value. And I will again encourage all the prospective IPO companies here that please do go for IPO. It's going to, but don't, as I said earlier, don't think that IPO is Aladdin ka Chirag, which is going to change everything for you overnight. You have to do your work at your home yourself, and then IPO will bring all the benefits. Thank you.